are going to welcome you back to the Principals Podcast. In studio here, you have Katie and Luke, who's in my office. You can see them. Morgan Fisher is in her humble household. She's over there. And we have Mrs. Bondi, who's in the podcast. Mr. Heim will be joining us. Today, we are talking about cross country. And that is exactly what I said, cross country. These kids have been running all year long, probably both nonstop, either fall, winter, and spring, back to the fall. They've been conditioning, they've been at invitationals, and we have the opportunity to talk about boys and girls, both with Coach Cole and Coach Schaefer, their training regimen. It's important for us to know all of our sports, and this is a sport that has a lot of localized fans with moms and dads and brothers and sisters and close friends, but it's not a sport that you can kind of sit in one spot and watch because they're always on the move. So welcome to the podcast, and let's start with the girls because we're in two different worlds here. Katie, Morgan, as seniors, talk to us about your experience so far, and then we'll get into some other specific questions. So how's things going your senior year with cross country?
Things are going great. We have had, I think we had 3 meets so far. At one of them, the girls got 7th, and then the next one, the girls got 4th, and the third one we went to, which was Walsh, we got 2nd. So we've been just improving every week, and the team is great. We have we have a freshman in the top 7. It's really good. Riley I can't remember
Johnston, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're doing great so far. We had a little rough start in our first meet, but I think we're improving a lot, and we've been killing the workouts. So I'm really excited to see where this year is gonna head.
Let's talk a little bit about the training that goes on, because every day after school we see you meet on the track and you're doing various routines. So what does a typical week look like for conditioning, knowing that you're going to be playing at X facility, knowing the terrain? Does your coach put together practice plans for individual athletes, for groups of girls? Like, what does it look like for girls cross country?
So basically we all do the same workout whenever we do it. So if we have a meet on Saturday, we'll do workouts on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then aerobic runs Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And the workouts, we do a lot of hills because we want to get ready for meets that have hills and that have like grass that might not be flat and even. So sometimes we have to go to other places like Chardon Township and Munson Township, and we also do track workouts to practice sprinting.
Yeah, most of our workouts are on the track, and we do Munson Hills a lot, which is nice that we have access to that. And yeah.
How long have both of you ran? Like, obviously since you could walk, but for a sport.
I've run since 7th grade. I joined.
Yeah, we both joined in 7th grade. Yeah.
Did you both have athletes that you looked up to? Because our cross country and track program has been phenomenal, both of them boys and girls, but we've had some exceptional runners. Were there specific girls that you looked up to that either have graduated while you were here or you heard of because they were in the program when you were in the middle school?
Definitely, like Denali Salin, Andy Mann, and Bree Neesit. Definitely girls that I look up to. They are, they've always worked really hard, and they've inspired me at practice.
Yeah, they're exceptional.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say a lot of the seniors our freshman year, they really set a good example for us for the program. So Denali and Molly Green and a lot of the now freshmen in college who just graduated too, like we ran with them for a lot, and they're really hard workers. So
have you ever met Rachel Banks?
I did meet her one time.
She's exceptional.
Yes. Really.
I mean, they'll talk about hard work and ethics and what she put into to do what she did, both in cross country and track. That girl could flat out run, and it was a learned sport for her. So we're going to go and we're going to transition to boys, but then we're going to bring both teams together in conversation. So let's talk with Luke. Luke, you've been running here for more than 4 years. Talk to us about the cross-country experience so far this year, some of the things to look forward to, some of the meets you've been at, and some of the things that you do at practice that kind of get you guys ready for each meet.
Yeah, so this year's been going pretty good. We're a very young team. 12 freshmen came up, which is just an insane amount. And our upperclassmen we're a little bit lower. We only have one senior, which is me, and then two other juniors. But we've been at 3 meets, same with the girls. Uh, we ran really well. We've placed third at our last meet at Walsh, which is pretty good. And a normal week of training, Monday and Wednesday workouts, and for that we have usually the same type of workout, but it'll be altered a little bit depending on the runner. Obviously, we're really young, so we don't want to work them too hard until they break. So we'll have alterations of the same workout Monday and Wednesday, and then Tuesday, Thursday, Friday we have aerobic runs, and Saturday's a race.
Did Mark Schaefer, Coach Schaefer, have an elliptical bike out on the track the other day?
Yeah, so the Mendezoons, they're really into the track program. Doc, he helps us all, and he has something called an elliptigo, which is like an elliptical, but it's a bike. So people that are injured, like one of our juniors, Nathan Eads, he messed up his foot a little bit. So to help him train and get back on, he has a elliptical bike that he rides around, which is pretty cool.
It was really cool to see out there on the track. Girls, did you see it?
Yes, we thought it was really funny.
It looked like it wasn't easy to get going, but once you got used to it, you probably could get moving. Because kids were just falling over like they had never rode a bike before.
Is that new? I saw that when I was leaving yesterday.
Yeah, so we got that maybe a week ago-ish from the Mendezoons. They lent it to us, so we're using that for cross country and track season. We keep it in the shed, but it's a weird piece of equipment. I mean, it takes a minute to learn, but it's really cool, and it's helping out the boys that are still getting back into it that might be a little injured. So,
have any of you runners seen or been a part of the zero gravity treadmills?
I've seen them, but I've never done them.
I've never been on one, but I have seen one. Those are pretty cool.
That seems like it's one of those therapeutic getting back to running sports. And Morgan, have you seen that?
Yeah, I know my friends have been on it, but I've never been on.
I hear it's harder than it looks, right?
It looks like it.
Yeah, it looks like it'd be like, oh, you're walking on the moon, but I think it's actually pretty hard.
Yeah.
As you can tell, well, not literally right now, but I am not a runner. At this point, I'm sure Mrs. Bondi, myself, and Mr. Heim, we run by force, like usually chasing after somebody, like our kids.
I use my kids to get running in. Last night, my son wanted to play tag, and I was like, well, this is my exercise for the day, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the idea of cross country. I wish that that's something I would have gotten into. In my college days, I was very much into running, and that's kind of my preferred athletic activity, I guess, in college, and a little bit beyond too. When you guys are running in and out of those different courses, I mean, what's that like? What's the mindset? Because I know there's others around you. You got to watch out for different things. I know. I was wondering too if you guys have a favorite course. Which course is the most challenging? Any of those?
So for my mindset when I'm running, sometimes it's hard. I'll just feel like, okay, just get to the next tree, just get to the next landmark or whatever. And then I'd say the most challenging course for us would probably be Boardman, which is where they have regionals every year. It's just tough mentally, and it's just kind of like a big field of competitive athletes, so it's hard to like stay into it the whole time.
Yeah, so for me, when I'm running a race, I mean, it's kind of freeing. I mean, obviously people that run as much as I do, people call us crazy, but it's euphoric, honestly. I really enjoy it. So when you're out there racing, you're showing people all the hard work you've put in. I mean, it might be only 15 minutes of running, but it's quite the feeling and passing people, and you just think like, I put in all this work to show how good I am, so might as well show that I'm the best I can be, and you push yourself as hard as you can. The worst course I've ran at, well, not the worst, but the most challenging is Billy Goat.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to run there this year, but it's a pretty tough just because the last little bit of the race is a hill, and it feels like you're just climbing the side of a mountain. It's pretty steep, and then it's a sprint finish. So it's a pretty fun course, but it's pretty tough.
I've been there to see that. That is insane.
Where is that at? Billy Goat?
McDonald.
Yeah.
Okay.
Morgan, what about you?
Oh, for racing, it's hard, but I think a lot of things you just you have to stay focused. That's a really big thing of running, is not letting your mind drift off. And I think teamwork's a big thing too, with sticking with teammates and trying your hardest to just not let them go and kind of chase after people too. And I would say my favorite course might be Madison. That's where our district's meet is, and we're going to an invitational there too, but it's nice and flat and has a nice little trail through the woods, which I think is fun.
Can you, there's when you play soccer, it's in a stadium, there's boundaries. Baseball, softball, boundaries. Basketball, football, boundaries. When you're running cross country, there's like 150 of you standing in a straight line. There is the sound of a gun, or a gun goes off, or cap goes off, and you all take off. And then there's just everyone that's standing on the outside can see what's going on. And then you have people that trace you on the course, encouraging you. And then it all comes back down to the finish line. Like, what does that feel like? Because you're like inside of a maze for each of you, because you look left, you look right. It's like race car driving. And what is the feeling for you from the start to the length of that run, to knowing the track, and then getting to that finish line, seeing various people? Like, walk us through that. What is that like? Because none of us on this podcast, besides the three of you, have done it.
Yeah, so the beginning's quite an experience. You got anywhere from 150 to around like 400 people almost at the start. So it's literally just like a mosh pit. Who can get out? You got to get good position, because if not, you can be trapped behind people. But that's just like your adrenaline spiked to the max, and there's usually people on each side just cheering as loud as they can. Then you get about half mile in. It depends on the course, but usually it dies down. You start to settle into pace. And I mean, honestly, it depends on the course for spectators. Some of the courses, you can go from the start, not see pretty much any spectator until the end. And then other ones, you see spectators throughout the whole thing. So the ones where like there's no spectators, you just got to focus on the runners around you, make sure that you're passing them, staying with them, but during the middle, it's definitely a mental thing to stay intact, because again, you could be pretty much by yourself for 3 miles of a race, which is pretty mentally tasking. Yeah. And then the end, it's just like the start, except without the mosh pit. There's a ton of cheering, and that's the point where you give it all you got. You balls to the wall, got to go.
Yeah.
And it's pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie, but it's fun, very fun.
Girls, would you say it's a very similar feeling for you? Is there anything different that goes on?
I would say it's a pretty similar feeling. I'd say when you're in the woods, if there's like no spectators around, you can basically only hear like people breathing in their footsteps in front of you or behind you. So it's a little like scary. Like if you could hear someone behind you, you just gotta keep going, looking forward and not look behind.
Yeah, I'd say the beginning, it's like crazy. Like there's so many people, and if you don't get out, it's really difficult. You really need to be focused, but you don't want to go out too fast, so it's kind of hard to gauge yourself there. But I feel like at a lot of the meets we've been, there's been a good amount of spectators, and they're hyping you up, and it's really fun.
So Mr. Hyam has now joined us from another meeting he was in, and we covered a lot of cross country, from the training that goes on to the meets they've been at to some of their teammates. And then obviously you just heard the last few minutes. Do you have any other specific questions you want to ask before you get into your game?
I do have one question. In a little history, I think one of the greatest accomplishments I've had in my life was finishing a marathon. And I use the word finish on purpose. Because it actually took me 4 training sessions to get to the point where I could even complete it because of injury, illness, sickness. I mean, running is an extreme taxing thing that you do to your body. With that, what is the greatest accomplishment you had in running?
Yeah. So the biggest accomplishment in running, I mean, it's kind of tough, but the biggest accomplishment, honestly, for me this year isn't running. It's about the team that we have. So this year, there's one senior, like I said earlier, and 12 freshmen, and a ton of younger people. So my biggest accomplishment is getting them out there, getting them running. They're running really well. They're performing like they've been varsity athletes for 3-4 years, but they're just baby freshmen. So I feel pretty accomplished because I helped them get there and get to where they are now. So I mean that's mine for running, but I mean it's kind of not running, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's leadership. That's awesome.
Yeah, I would say our biggest accomplishment is probably like almost every year we've won WRC, and I feel like it's great for the team to like just have that and like be the defending champion people. And I would agree with Luke. Like over the years, I feel like we've always built up a really good team and a really good culture of people who like want to be there and they want to work hard. And we also want to like spend time with each other and have fun at the same time.
Oh, I guess I agree. WRC is I feel like that's a really big accomplishment that throughout the years. Last year we did get beat out by Kenson, but this year we really are shooting for first. So
Yeah.
I think, and it's our conference, so it doesn't really count for like the regionals and stuff, but it's just kind of a fun meet. And yeah.
We need to get the Chardon Crazies to experience a meet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love
So
that.
that's a shout out to all Chardon Crazy fans to definitely go to meet. Make sure you stay behind the lines. You guys usually have tents set up where you're getting warmed up and a home base. When is your next meet for both of you? This weekend?
Saturday at Boardman.
Yep.
Saturday at Boardman, and I believe that's one of the places that you dread.
And
That's
you,
our regional meet. So
Yeah.
you guys are leaving at 6:00 in the morning.
yep.
That's intense.
Yeah, that's the thing with cross. It might be a little early in the morning, but hey, we're all out there because we love the sport. So
Yeah.
I don't want to get into Chaim's this or that. Do you have any questions for that today? The chicken or steak?
I do have some chicken and steak. Can I take over?
You can take over because if you don't have this question, I'll ask it at the end. So go ahead.
All right. So I'm going to go with the first one. It's a no-brainer for me, but it might be difficult for you guys. Music or no music when you run?
Music. I love listening to music when I run. But if I'm with people, then no, because we just talk.
Okay.
yeah, kind of the same thing. Also depends if it's like a long run, then music. But if not a long run, then no.
Yeah, same thing. Like running a lot by yourself, I gotta listen to some music, but running with other people talking is good.
I must be doing something wrong because I can never talk when I run. And I know that's supposed to be what you're supposed to do is run at a pace that you can talk. But maybe I'm doing something wrong. I got to get better at this. So maybe you guys can help me. Okay. You like running in the morning or you like running at night?
I would say morning. I mostly run in the morning, but night runs are really fun. Like at night, if it's dark and we're running, it's like a euphoria. Like you said earlier, it's really fun.
Yeah, I'm a big morning runner. It's just really nice. No one's out there. It's quiet. But like Katie said, there are a few nights where if it's really dark, it's pretty fun to run on at night. So
Yeah, I also would say morning. I like just getting it out of the way, but those night meets usually have one a year. They're really fun and they're definitely a unique experience.
Running on track or roads or out in the trails?
It depends for me. I would say trails is more fun, like in the woods and stuff, but it can be a little bit frustrating with like your pace and all that. So sometimes running on the track is just nice just to get it done and like it feels good.
yeah, I'm a big trails runner. Like trails, the nice limestone or crushed gravel. Those are always my favorite places to run.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say maybe roads because I really like running on the bike path. I guess that's kind of a road, but that's my favorite place to
Okay,
run.
Mr. Murray, I got two more. Would you rather win the state title or win the Boston Marathon?
I'd say state title because I want my team to be there with me, and I think it'd be like I feel like all of us. I don't know if you meant team winning the state title, but to win the state title as a team would just be like the best thing ever. I would absolutely love it. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, so if it was team, definitely team, but individuality, I would probably go Boston Marathon just because that's like a really big race. And for me personally, the longer the distance gets, usually the better I get. I'm one of those weird people, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to go with state because even though we've never gone as a team when me and Katie have been in the program, I've been to the meets and it's just so cool and it seems super exciting.
So the real popular thing now is the name, image, and likeness. You can get paid to do different things and wear their products. Would you rather have Nike come to you or Brooks?
Nike, because I just think their clothes are cuter and okay, Brooks clothes are like cute, but like I also sometimes I used to wear Brooks shoes, but I don't wear Brooks anymore, so Nike.
That's honestly a really tough one because Nike's coming out with new really good running shoes, and they have good running shoes like the Alpha Flies and the Next Percents. Those are really good. But I've been like a Brooks runner for a few years. I mean, I have Saucony now, but I've been a Brooks runner for a few years, so that's honestly a toss-up. I would have to think about that for a little bit more.
Yeah, I know Nike's come out with some cool, like they have the Vapor Flies, which make you go really fast on the track. But I've just worn Brooks my entire like running career, so I'd have to say Brooks.
Okay, a little chicken and steak, Mr. Murray.
Yeah, I love Brooks shoes. I'm a big fan. I don't even run, but it's like nice to be on a cloud when you walk. I guess that this is not really a chicken or steak question, but there's people that love running in various temperatures. So do you like running? Which season do you like running in the most? And do you like running in hot temperatures, cold temperatures, snow, rain? Like what type of runner are you?
So for me, more of a brisk, like 50s. Love a 50-degree run. It's really nice because it's a little chilled, but when you start moving, it's really nice. I don't know. I'm kind of more on the colder side personally, but I mean, everyone's got their differences.
Yeah, we haven't seen those days really. A
Yeah.
couple mornings.
Yeah.
I would definitely say my favorite season to run is fall, and the worst is winter. I love the fall because it's just like it's pretty and it's just nice and calming to run. Like there's not too much humidity, and then like summer's okay, but winter, no, it's just the absolute worst. Like I'm like hot, but I'm cold. It's not good.
Yeah, my favorite season would be short season. So whenever we can just wear shorts. So that's like probably anything above 50 would be good for me.
Those polar vortex years when you were doing indoor track and you were not indoors and you were running outdoors, it blew my mind. It would be like 10 degrees, you'd be bundled up or not bundled up and running. You come back with icicles on your eyes. There's a different breed of Chardon runners here. So we're transitioning, closing out with the opportunity to give gratitude. This is our opportunity to give thanks for the things going on in our life this week or people you want to give a shout out to. And I'll let the three students think this through since I'm just threw this at you. I will begin since it's in the top of my mind. I want to give a great shout out to someone that has been a great support system in our building and a great leader, and that's Sarah Parks for all the work she's doing as our school nurse, and she splits time between here and Munson. She's constantly working way beyond her hours to keep parents informed, kids informed. She's doing a great job. So my shout out goes to Sarah Parks.
Okay. My shout out will go to our coaches, Coach Cole and Coach Green. They're preparing us for the season and they care about us as runners and they want to see us do well. And I think they've been doing a great job.
Yeah, I want to give out a shout out to my coach Schaefer, and then all the we do spaghetti dinners the night before meet. All the parents that are helping with that, all the kids that are showing up. It honestly helps a lot, and we really appreciate that.
I'm gonna give a shout out to all the girls on the cross country team because I love them so much, and just going to cross country practice just brightens my day, and they all work so hard.
The adults are still thinking, huh?
No, mine's pretty broad, but it's very much very, very heartfelt. All of the Chardon High School teachers who have been working so hard in all of these changing conditions and trying to adapt, they're just an amazing group of educators. I think the Chardon students are very lucky to have them, and I feel lucky to work with them. So the Chardon teachers, Chardon High School teachers, win it hands down this week for me.
I'm gonna send a shout out to the Chardon marching band. I think, you know, in the past years they've been great, but this year there's a special group, specialness to the marching band this year. So I want to recognize all the work that they're doing at the games, and you know, even on those Fridays when we do the drum line through the building, it just really brings a lot to our school. So shout out to the Chardon marching band.
I know that two of you that are in studio are going to be heading out to practice, and I have a pass for you. And then the bottom it says no extra running, please, since you're coming from a school event down to practice. We wish you the best as you come into the Boardman, and I know that's not going to bring a lot of crazy fans down there, but when is the closest invitational? After Boardman?
Next Saturday.
Where
I
are you
think-
running?
I think the Madison meet is in 2 Saturdays, but also I would say WRC because that's at Kenston. That one's
Yeah.
really close.
Yeah, that's really
And
close.
that one's really fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch. It's a great place to run. But every time I go there, it always rains.
That's kind of true. Yeah.
It's always very soggy, very chilly.
Mhm.
But you just said you like chilly conditions. Well, it's been awesome having these brilliant students both in the classroom and on the, I guess, the terrain with us today. Thanks for joining us. I hope that this helps get people to understand a little bit more cross country and also more fans to come watch you run. Great shout out to your entire team and your coaches. We will see you in school tomorrow. So have a great day,
Thank you.
everybody,
Thank you.
and go Toppers. Thanks again. See you, Morgan.
Bye, guys.
Go Toppers.
Oh.